Fantastic. Joshua Edwards. The bet. The bet, Joshua Edwards.
The first time I was in Las Vegas and old enough to gamble, I went up to the blackjack table. And you know what I did? I took out my $20, which was the minimum bet, and I put it down on the table. The dealer dealt the cards. I peeked and I busted. So you know what I did? I took out another $20 and put the minimum bet on the table. The dealer dealt the cards. I peeked and again, I busted. So you know what I did? I took out another $20 and put it on the table. The dealer dealt the cards. I peeked and I busted. In less than 2 minutes, I had lost $60. Clearly, I am not a successful gambler. Madam Contest Chair and distinguished guests, my speech tonight is not about gambling, at least not the kind that can ruin a person financially. Instead, I'd like to talk about a very different type of betting, the type that can actually set someone up for success for the rest of their life. And there are three types of bets that I'd like to talk about tonight. The first of those is when you bet on somebody else. To make my point, let me share a story about my father. He was a pre-law professor for many years, and he tutored countless students who were considering going into the profession of law. They revered him. But there was one student in particular. Her name was Erica. Erica was very shy, introverted, and she wouldn't assert herself in class, and she wouldn't speak up. But she took my father's pre-law class, and it started to open her mind to the possibility of a career in the law. Well, one day she confided in my dad that she didn't think she had what it took to be a successful attorney. And my dad said to her, Erica, I'd bet on you any day. Well, sure enough, Erica became a successful attorney and a law professor. When my father passed away last summer, I knew that Erica would want to know. So I sent her a message on Facebook. We hadn't spoken in probably 10 years. She wrote back the most beautiful message, and she shared that story with me. And she said, I only had the confidence to go to law school and become an attorney and follow your father's footsteps because he told me that he believed in me. Now, the second kind of bet that can change someone's life forever is when somebody else bets on you. Some time ago, I was on a hike with a hiking buddy. And as we were talking and walking through nature, enjoying the fresh air and the outdoors, I was confiding about how frustrated I was at having gained weight during the pandemic. Weight has been a difficult subject for me my whole life. I was heavy as a kid, and every now and then I would get super motivated to exercise and eat healthy, and I would lose some weight. 6 or 8 weeks would go by, and then I would fall off the bandwagon, and it would all come right back. And at one point on our hike, my friend said to me, you know, Joshua, you could be a bodybuilder if you really wanted to. In fact, you can do anything that you set your mind to. I was shocked because although we've all heard the cliche, I had never actually applied it to myself. So what I did was I joined a gym, but here's what's different. It wasn't just a gym where you go on your own. I joined a small group training gym called F45. The F stands for functional, and 45 stands for 45 minutes. And for the past almost 6 months, every Monday through Friday at 7:15 in the morning, I go to the F45 gym and we do intense, high-intensity cardio and resistance training where I am surrounded by people who all push me to work harder than I would push myself. I never used to be able to do a pull-up where I had to get my chin over the bar, and now I can do several. We do box jumps and burpees and heavy squats. At the end of each workout, I am hot and sweaty. We end with a stretch, and then I go home and I shower, and I have a healthy, delicious breakfast. I just got an email last week, as a matter of fact, from F45 congratulating me on my 100th workout with them. I love knowing that I have made a permanent lifestyle change. And this time, I'm not falling off the bandwagon. This time, I'm not going to bust. Now, that brings me to the third and perhaps the most important bet of all, and that is for you to bet on yourself. You see, my dad believed in Erica, but he couldn't do the work for her. She had to apply to law school. She had to read all those cases and write all those legal briefs. My friend on the hike believed in me, but she couldn't jump into my body and do those pull-ups and do those burpees and do those heavy squats. After all, that would be kind of weird. When you're betting on yourself, my biggest piece of advice is don't just put down the minimum bet that's required. Go all in. Because as with anything in life, the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. Very few people can take just one positive step and hit the jackpot. And it certainly wasn't me in Las Vegas. So whatever challenge you're facing, the next time you're standing in front of a mirror, look at yourself and say to yourself, I would bet on you any day. Because you know something? I would bet on you any day.